not only can we all be leaders, we all have a responsibility to step up to leadership, because there's no way that one single leader can solve the wicked problems that we face as a society today. These take multiple people working from different perspectives together in order to make change possible. Today, we see leadership as a much more fluid and dynamic process. This model comes from the Center for Creative Leadership, and we've been using it in the NYU Leadership Initiative. In order to think about direction, we might ask ourselves, how would we know if things changed for the better? When would we know that it was time to celebrate? How would we know if we'd really made an impact? What would be the visible indicators that change had arrived? That would help us set direction. When we're thinking about building alignment, we're talking about coordinating different actions that people are taking, maybe separately, in service of reaching that direction together. And finally, with commitment, we're talking about really understanding what motivated us in the first place to want to achieve this direction, and how will we get others involved, and how will we continue to stay committed to one another and to the direction, even when things get really hard. In order to engage in this kind of leadership, this leadership as a collective process, I really think that there are sort of three capacities that we need to develop as individuals in order to work with others to get leadership done. The first is to really know ourselves. We need to understand what our values are, what our purpose is in this world, what we stand for, what we're willing to take risks for. We also need to understand what our strengths are and notice when our strengths are a good match for the situation at hand, the challenge at hand, and when perhaps they're not, and we should maybe be in more of a following role. The second capacity that we need to develop individually is to be able to make sense of complexity. Sometimes this is talked about as systems thinking, seeing the big picture. We need to be able to make sense of the complex forces that are influencing the challenges that we're trying to address. And then finally, we need very concretely to understand and develop our skills at how to work with others to achieve results. In other words, can you actually get things done? One strategy within organizations that's really powerful in terms of getting leadership distributed throughout the system is to let the middles in a system get together without anyone who reports to them and without anyone that they report to. The middles in the system are the ones who have the most information. However, they often don't know what's happening across the organization horizontally. If middles are able to join with each other, they start noticing system-wide issues that no one else is noticing. So in order to develop leadership, we need to repeatedly have cycles of assessment, learning, action, and reflection. In other words, we need to many times throughout our lives take a step back, take stock, get feedback from other people, but also give honest feedback to ourselves about how we're doing, where our strengths are, and what we might need to work on.